Let's go. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goalposts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any Kenny could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.
And we are here for Real Talk. Fellas, a pleasure to see you. I missed y'all on Thursday. How y'all feeling?
Good, man. We held it down in your absence, even though you tried to hijack the show. But
false allegations, just like against many black men in today's society. I will not stand for the false allegations. Deb, how are you, sir?
I'm hanging in there. You know what I mean? Just trying to get everything situated for Thursday. Just in case y'all don't know, Thursday kicks off my 2-year anniversary for My Thoughts, My Opinions Sports podcast.
Oh,
and I will be going live. Oh, and I got a special guest for this upcoming talent that's coming out of Baltimore, man. I can't wait to introduce the world to y'all, man.
That's what's up.
All right. I'm into it. Well, let's get into it. Some have argued this was the fight of the year. Some have argued maybe the fight of the decade. We got the matchup that we wanted. We got it when we wanted it for the most part. Terrence Bud Crawford went to Earl Big Fish Spence's home, so to speak, in relation to the titles. And boy, did he act up and act bad. I will start with the general. Floor is open. Kenny, you and I saw this fight going similar ways. I know you had a post, and I said if it has to go to the scorecards, that's not in his favor. And Isaac Cruz almost found that out the hard way. But Terrence Crawford, as I instructed, did not allow it to go to the judges. Kenny, your thoughts on what you saw Saturday night?
Man, just a thorough domination, like in every aspect. Like literally, to me, the Errol Spence won the first round, and that was it. Other than that, it was Crawford from then on. Like it wasn't even close, in my opinion. And the other part for me, one of the biggest takeaways for me, is that he didn't even dig all the way into his bag. Like he fought him the whole fight, from southpaw. He didn't even have to switch up, and he beat him, as they say, from pillar to post. And it was shocking. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that this was going to be a close fight. I thought this was, everybody I was just like everybody else. It's a 50-50 fight. It's a pick 'em fight. But this was an out and out, just thorough domination. And, every question, and, I posted about every question we had about Bud Crawford, he answered it on last night. And with this, I honestly don't know what Spence can do other than going to 154 to have a chance to beat Bud Crawford based off of what we saw on Saturday night. So, I just got to tip my hat off to Bud Crawford and to his team, man. He just was the cream of the crop. He was the class. It was, as they say, there's levels to it, and he proved it on Saturday night.
Dev, I'll let you go.
Earl Spence, you let me down, man. I thought I was coming in here calling myself Dastradamus again, man, and I was banking on it and everything, but it looked like Martin showed up to that fight. And I gotta tip my hats off to you, gentlemen. Y'all called it, man. Y'all seen something that me and Chris didn't see, man. And like right now, I don't see Chris nowhere to be found, man. He gonna leave me all high and dry by myself.
Wow.
I see how we do now, Chris.
I've been telling y'all he be ducking for weeks.
Oh man, but man, like Coach said, man, Crawford showed me something different, man. I never had no doubts in him. It was like a flip of a coin. It was 50-50. You know what I mean? You really couldn't be mad at which fighter was going to win. But the way Crawford did Spence, man, it was like you can tell that Spence did so much talking up to this fight, and Crawford was like, I had enough. I'm about to really show you what these hands can do. And he proved it to him. It was like every time I thought, like, all right, Spence could come back off of this, Crawford had an answer for his own answer. So it was just like I didn't really know what was up with Spence. I think Spence might have did a little something before he got to that fight because he was in slow motion. He didn't look like he could not get off of the first gear, man. It looked like he was still sitting on the couch. So Spence, you kind of let me down, but Crawford, you really showed me that you really are the truth, my guy.
Well said. Dev, I appreciate you taking that humble pie, as Earl Spence also had to humble himself after the fight. I thought it was a class act. It was well done. I just was checking, and he said even if I had an excuse to give, I wouldn't give one. I'm good with that.
No, he didn't make no excuses.
But stop telling me you're not going to make excuses. Just let it be. Like, I don't need to hear that. If there was an excuse, I would have made one. You just lost. But I am not in the same panic mode, I guess, as most people. I think Terrence Crawford had better timing, and he was more precise, and he was more motivated. I think Earl Spence, and I think I said this on here.
But why, though? Why?
I think leading into this fight, I kept hearing Terrence Crawford say how much he had trained for this moment. The more I heard Earl Spence talk, the more I heard him keep saying, I'm ready to move to 154. To me, the mindsets are just different throughout this journey. This was Terrence Crawford's moment to prove everybody that I am who I've been saying I am, even when y'all didn't want to give me credit. And I just didn't see that out of Earl Spence. And I was concerned. I think I joked about it on here. I said, Derrick James trained Frank Martin, and he didn't look good in his fight. And I said, I think Earl Spence is different. But Earl Spence didn't look like he had a clue as to what or how to counter what Terrence Crawford was offering. He couldn't. The power jab was something he was not expecting, and he never really figured out how to deal with it.
He landed 60% of his powers.
That's crazy.
Which is ridiculous. And something I kept telling my wife while we were watching, he wouldn't throw the right hook. it was like he didn't know what punches to throw to a left-handed fighter, which is why I don't think Bud switched stances. He said leading up into the fight, he was going to be left-handed most of the fight, and he was left-handed the entire fight.
The entire fight.
And there was no reason
no reason to switch.
So I'm not as out. I thought the jab left that Spence kept trying to throw, it was slow, it was easy to see, and there was nothing special about it. Mm-hmm. I don't think this was Earl's best performance. I think this is an opportunity for him to get back in the lab. I think he beat some people coming off his injury, and maybe we didn't really get to see him tested in this kind of form of fashion, obviously, because this was a generational performance, in my opinion. But I think, as he said, Terrence Crawford was definitely the better man. He kept saying timing. I don't know if it was just that glaring of a speed difference or if it was just timing.
I think it was. I think it was because it seemed like his shots, when he was trying to set up his shots, he was just like maybe an inch or two off, or maybe a tick or two off, where it seemed like if he would have thrown the shot like maybe a second earlier, it would have connected. So I think that's what he was talking about in terms of the timing.
And so I think there's a lot to learn if you're Spence's camp. And let me also say, shout out to Terrence Crawford. That was, as I said, a generational performance. That was exquisite. That was boxing at its highest form. That was everything that boxing is supposed to be was displayed in that fight. Class from beginning to end. Showmanship coming out with Eminem. I think after this fight, he can renegotiate some deals so they can get
the man to actually perform.
That was a little weird, but I was a girl I know since had posted about it, said next time Eminem's gonna be asking to perform next time Bud Crawford wants to walk out, because that next fight it'll change. It should change his life if this one didn't already.
Oh no, they already made big money off of this fight.
So, but I know the splits initially, according to Max Kellerman, were not the most favorable to Crawford.
That was his concession, though, to make the fight happen, from what I understand.
So yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. This was the best version I've ever seen of Terrence Crawford, and I don't know if he baited Spence because he hadn't looked as good in his last 2 or 3 fights, and I didn't know then if he was trying to look a little lackluster or what, but this was a
thorough beatdown,
and it gives a lot of people something to think about. Speaking of which, what do we have next for these 2 fighters? We obviously, Spence is saying today he wants to rematch at 154. Do we get, speaking of which, somebody's already ahead of it. Shout out to Robin. Are we going to get a rematch? And if so, at what weight? Dev, I'll start with you.
I think we're going to get a rematch. And the way you was talking how Crawford was really feeling about going up to the next weight, if Spence really want that rematch, you would have to follow whatever Crawford asked for now, because
absolutely
you the one that got beat. You know what I mean? The cards is in Crawford playing table. So I think whatever Crawford wants, I think that's where Spence would wind up going if he wants that rematch that bad.
Yeah, I agree. But I think if I'm Spence, if I can't get this fight at 154, I'm not doing it, because to be honest with you, I think that's his only chance, because, a lot of people were saying that he looked weight drained and, dehydrated and, this, that, and the third. So to me, that could be the only explanation as to why he, was so lethargic. It seemed like, at a lot of points in the fight. So I think that if he can't get that fight at 154, if I'm Errol Spence, I don't know if I'm exercising the rematch clause if I can't get it at 154. And on the other hand, if I'm Bud Crawford, I'm not doing the fight unless it's at 147, because it's clear that you had an advantage at 147, and I'm not giving that up, especially when I'm the winner. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out, because I think that to me, that's the only explanation as to why Errol Spence looks so bad, is that he just has a hard time making 147. And because we talked about this before. They said, I've heard in interviews that he says he walks around between 160 and 175. He can almost get up to 180 at some point. So to lose that much weight, that's not easy. So I guess, and the older you get, you guys know, the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight, bro. So I just think that's going to be the sticking point of this, because I don't want to see a rematch at 147, to be honest with you. If they're not rematching at 154, I don't want to see it, because I don't think it's going to be competitive at 147.
I said the same thing after Fury Wilder 2, and Fury Wilder 3 was amazing. So
it was, but that's heavyweights though, and you don't got to worry about no weight.
I think we got to see what Terrence Crawford is like as the man. He's been the underdog. He's been trying to prove it all this time. Now he is in quote unquote the big fish.
Yeah.
I think he is the ability I've seen displayed in victory and leading up to. I don't have much doubt, but that is a sport that one punch, one slip, one hesitation,
true story,
can change trajectory. So I'm not crushing or burying Spence yet, but he was thoroughly outclassed. Real quick, breaking news. I don't know if y'all saw this. Mark Jackson just posted. He has been let go.
He's been replaced by Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Are y'all kidding me?
Yeah, he's been replaced by Doc Rivers.
It's going to be Breen, Doc Rivers, and Doris Burke.
That is atrocious. What a fall from grace, ESPN.
And what's crazy is that I'm sorry, go ahead, Ray.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what's crazy is that the only advantage that they had over TNT was the announcing team. Mm-hmm. TNT had everything else in terms of the pre and post game. It's no question. Everybody loves Inside the NBA over any pregame and postgame show. I think the only advantage that they had was the fact that they had that great chemistry between Breen, Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson, and for them to break that up, I think it might have been okay if it was just Breen and Mark Jackson, but you get rid of Mark Jackson too. I just think that's bad. That's bad.
I just feel like Mark Jackson and Van Gundy together,
for sure,
is the best duo to me.
For sure, them two can play off each other tremendously.
Like, if those two are available,
TNT, why not go get them?
What's the wait? Like, I can't imagine with that.
You put them with Harlan.
I'm sure they could find someone.
I'm just thinking.
I don't know. Probably whoever their lead guy is over there, but wow, that is surprising. What a Doc Rivers. I can't have Stanley's voice.
I like Doris Burke, but it ain't no
Doris. She be doing.
DB cool, but
she cool, but she do too much. And now I'm gonna have to hear a lot. Like, I've heard her call some games, and it ain't the same as the sideline reporter Doris. She be doing too much. So, boy, oh boy, that's tough. That's tough. But back to the man of the hour, Terrence Crawford. And I posed this question beforehand. So if it is at 147, we all think Spence just moves on, or does he take another rematch at 147?
That's a good question. I don't think he does. I think he moves on, because it seems like that he feels like that was his last fight at 147. Like you were saying, to your point, where he was talking about 154. I think he's in that mind frame. It's time to move up. So I don't think he's going to take that rematch at 147. He said it in the post fight. Like, when they asked him about the rematch, he was like, "Yeah, but at 154."
Dev?
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. I don't really think it's going to be competitive. We just seeing it wasn't competitive this time. You know what I mean? So I don't see it being competitive at this weight again, especially if he was fighting for, you know, the dehydration and stuff like that. And, you know, if he walking around heavy, yeah, he lost a lot of his power going down to 147. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want to see it, and I wouldn't want to take it either.
The other thing I thought was interesting for me, because you say that, and this is what threw me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Crawford looked bigger to me than Spence that night of the fight.
Yeah,
that was not what I expected. I expected Spence to beef way back up, and he didn't look like the bigger fighter. He definitely wasn't the stronger fighter. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. Even at 154, I think that could slow down Spence's speed potentially with that extra weight. I don't know if he's ever been that big. I definitely not in a fight. I don't know. I will be very interested. I want to see it either way. But for Spence's mentality, I don't think I want to see it at 147. But these divisions are getting compressed.
So, quick question: which fight was more impressive to y'all, Gervonta and Garcia, or Spence and Crawford?
Spence and Crawford,
easy.
Yeah, because
if Garcia would have did to Davis what Crawford did to Spence, I might have a different answer for you. But that didn't happen. What I thought would happen happened in a less dramatic way.
Right.
So,
is it because of Garcia's statue, or was it
the fight itself? I think Garcia actually had some moments in that fight with Tank, whereas, like I said, with Spence, he really just had the first round, and it was all downhill from there. Garcia actually had some moments where he was competitive. I feel like Spence wasn't competitive at all.
Agreed. And then the surprise factor, the star factor, both brought out a lot of stars. So the numbers will do well. So I will be curious to see what those come out as. But
definitely,
I've been saying for a long time boxing was building, and boxing is definitely here. More fights to come. But yeah, very, very interesting time in boxing. So at 147, if you're Crawford and Spence will not rematch you at 147, Ennis is, according to, I believe, one report, number one contender for the IBF, or his mandatory for the IBF. So what are we thinking?
For Crawford?
Yeah.
Are we talking from Crawford? Yeah, I probably would take that. I probably would take that Boots fight if I can't get Spence to come back and run it back at 147, because here's the other part, that at 154, what's the incentive for Crawford? All the belts are at 147. So fighting him at 154, all that does is it gives all the advantages to Spence, and there's no incentive for you. There's no belts for you to incentivize you to want to move up, unless they do something where they're gonna, like, I don't even know if they could even do that. Like, they transfer you can't transfer the belt from one division to the other. So, like, if we're not fighting at 147, then what's the point from Crawford's perspective? And I think that to me, that Boots Ennis is going to give him a same type of challenge, and it's at the same division. I'll be able to keep my belt. So to me, Ennis is a better option.
Agreed. Dev, your thoughts?
I feel like Ennis is the up and coming guy that he can bring the crowd out, and I think it will be an interesting fight also, because the his last fight was very impressive. So I can see Crawford taking this fight. But I don't think a lot of people will be more anticipated to watch this fight more than the Spence fight, the Spence rematch fight, you know what I mean? So
I won't do the same numbers. I agree.
Yeah, I think it will be a good fight for both fighters, Ennis and Crawford, but I feel like if you're going for the money and the numbers, I think the Spence fight will probably be more ideal. But I would, if I'm Ennis, I would call him out. You know what I mean? Why not?
Oh, of course.
You would go as far as to call him out?
No, I would fight.
You want that money. You want that opportunity. You want that stage, that platform. So why not?
I would fight him. You know what I mean? No question about it. But most definitely, I would start calling them out now before they even try to do the rematch clause again.
So if you're saying that, you guys are saying, and I'll give you my thoughts before. I'm a big Ennis fan. Big Ennis fan. I don't know if he's ready for what I saw.
I'm with you there.
Most definitely.
And if I'm Crawford, similar to what I believe Floyd did, you catch him before he's there. I don't think Boots is there just yet. So for me, that would be my thought. But definitely something to think about. At 147, I don't really care to see Crawford fight anyone else besides Ennis that I can think of, unless he went up, and if he goes up, I'd rather see a rematch.
Right.
These are some of the different options.
Or what about I was just about to say maybe Charlo, because I saw a clip that he said to him, "You next."
Yeah, you next. When he was in the ring, he did say, "You are next." Wow, I don't even think the fight was over yet.
No, it's just during the fight. He was in the corner. Yeah.
But I know Jamel has the Canelo fight, so maybe after that.
But I wouldn't. I could definitely see him coming back down, because I think that fight is more, a money grab. He's been fighting out with 54 this whole time. His brother was the one that was fighting at middleweight.
We definitely agree on that. So that moves me to the next block of this. What does this do for Terrence Crawford from a historical standpoint? Like, is this? He said this is the winner of this fight. It'll be deemed their era. Like, where does this put him? And there's some amazing welterweights all the way up to Mayweather. What does this fight do for his legacy as it stands, making history? Only male fighter to be undisputed under 2 different weight classes. Like, Kenny, your thoughts on what this does for Crawford?
I think it puts him in that all-time. It puts him in that all-time great category. It puts him in there, that category with the Sugar Ray Leonards, with the Floyd Mayweathers of the world. I think that you have to put him in. And I want to ask a question to you guys. Like, have you ever seen in a fight of this magnitude somebody get dominated the way that Crawford dominated Spence?
Not in my era watching boxing, really.
I would say that second Wilder Fury fight was supposed to be a huge matchup, and that was pretty bad. He had Deontay looking pretty bad. Outside of that, in a fight that I thought was evenly matched, nah, not really. Not where one guy just looked like he was in a different class from the other guy.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Undercards I might have seen one undercard, and I can't think of his name right now.
But yeah, I'm just talking about a main event, fight of the year, must see TV type of. Because to me, the last time we saw something like this was that I could think of was Lennox Lewis and Tyson, and neither one of them were in their prime at that time. So that's the last one that I could think of.
I thought Mayweather made Canelo look pretty bad. He didn't beat him up.
But he was young too, so that's the only reason why I wouldn't quite do that. I wouldn't quite put him in there.
Even I think Damian mentioned it when Canelo went up to fight Bivol. That was dominating. That was pretty tough.
I would agree. Yeah, but again, with even Floyd and Pacquiao, both of them were past their prime. That's what I'm saying. Like, 2 guys in their prime, fight of the century type of situation.
Be that big of a mismatch. It's not. It's a short list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Normally these fights are nip and tuck. Going to the scorecards where we're debating whether if the judges got it right, blah blah blah. This one was a no question. So for that reason, that's why I think that Crawford goes down as one of the all-time greats in terms of the welterweight division. Not only did he, he's undisputed and unified all the belts, but he did it in such a dominant fashion. That's what puts him in the all-time category for me.
Agreed. Dev, your thoughts? What does this do for Crawford in history?
Put him up in that pound for pound top 10 greatest of all times, up in that list somewhere. Because to me, I can say I kind of slept on Crawford. I'm not going to say that I didn't believe in him or any of his fights. I think this was the only fight that I kind of didn't side with him.
Chavez was past his prime then too.
So I feel like he answered a lot of questions. Because like I said, I'm only saying maybe seen Crawford fight maybe twice before this fight, and I at first I didn't see nothing spectacular, but after this fight, he kind of, like I say, he made me a believer. So I believe he can, being a two-time undisputed champ, is something amazing. I'm pretty sure a lot of fighters just want to do that if they had the opportunity to take that same path as Crawford. So most definitely a top 10 in my book, pound for pound fighter.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
No, I was going to ask. So, do y'all both have him number one pound for pound right now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think Inoue is close. What he did to Stephen Fulton was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more of a one-punch knockout situation, not as much
Right.
as a just boxing clinic.
Yeah.
So that to me would be the difference there. But there's more big boxing news. Devin Haney, he's has some positive news to go against the negative news he had come out about him recently. So he is set for a 2-fight setup to fight Regis Prograde at 140 for his WBC belt, and then they would try to unify with a fight against Teofimo Lopez. Pretty presumptuous, if you ask me, especially coming off the fight he just had. But my bigger, broader question is, can boxing become a household sport again if we keep getting the fights that we're looking for?
I say yeah. I feel like boxing is most definitely making his name relevant all over again. Just in the past, let's just say 2-3 years, mm-hmm. I feel like boxing has really made a huge step. The only thing boxing is really slacking in my opinion, is promotion. Like, they don't promote nothing. You don't find out the card fights until like the day of, the day before. Like the week of. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's like the only lag I feel boxing is lacking, and it's most definitely promotion. But I feel like even with their lack of promotion, man, with the fights they've been putting out, the fighters, they're starting to cross over to become pro fighters. Are really good fighters. They not just no amateur fighters that you just see at the Apollo. You know what I mean? So it actually be entertaining fighters, and even the undercards be really entertaining, especially for the guys that's their first fight as a pro and stuff like that. So I feel like boxing, whatever they did throughout the years to actually find their relevance again, they doing one hell of a job. And if they just step their promoting up, I think boxing can be a leading sport in as far as number wise, view wise.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest difference is that what's putting boxing back on the map is that we're seeing the marquee fights. Like I think what hurt boxing in the past was that we had these marquee matchups, but we weren't seeing them. Just a whole bunch of dancing and a bunch of politics and other things that was getting in the way of giving the fans what they wanted. So I think that's really been the biggest thing. And I think the only other thing I would add besides the marketing is I think that they need to bring more fights to network TV or to regular TV. I think that's the other thing is that back in the day where you had even recently where PBC was doing fights on Fox, like it seemed like they kind of gone away from that. I think if we could get back to those days to where we could see some more fights on network TV, I think that would also elevate boxing. And also, the marketing part of it, because when you have stuff on network TV, you get a lot more eyes on, you get a lot more marketing, publicity, promotion, and things of that nature. So I think that's the other thing that would help boxing become even greater, a greater mainstream sport.
I think Showtime has not like your main fighters, but like guys that's trying to cross over, try to prove themselves. I think it's called Peloton or something in that nature, but they do have
the MMA, yeah.
They do have like something as far as for boxing also for Showtime too. So I'm gonna have to dig more into research on.
Yeah, that's the Showbox.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Showbox. But I'm saying like for that, even with Showbox, like I know everybody pretty much nowadays has either their streaming or they have the premium television, but still to me, I think you're still going to get more eyes on you when you're on network television because it's easy. Everybody can access it. Everybody has the opportunity to be able to watch it. So I think that they really should, because if I remember right, I believe Showtime and CBS are part of the same company. So I think they could kind of cross promote that way and maybe get some fights on CBS.
Yeah, that's what I was actually trying to look up to see, because I know Showtime is now on the Paramount Plus app.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out who Paramount Plus is because, to your point, and this is where TV execs are missing it. If there's an opportunity to broadcast Spence Crawford on mainstream TV, they should have done that. It was a Showtime pay-per-view event. I get what the pay-per-view numbers generate from a Showtime cable perspective. But if I'm CBS, especially right now when there's not much on, you could have dominated whatever you were doing Saturday night.
Or at least put the undercards on there.
Mm-hmm.
At least the undercards or something, and then maybe with subscription, you can watch the fight for maybe half off or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there was a huge miss. I've realized this multiple times with the Showtime.
That's a great point.
You can't buy pay-per-views through the Showtime app. Like, it doesn't work that way. So I think there's huge misses from that. If y'all take my idea, you got it from. But I just think that there's been some huge misses with some of these fights that they're sticking behind these pay-per-view walls. And I think that's an old way of marketing. I think the demand is clearly there. The stars are clearly coming out for more and more of these fights. And baseball's attendance is up. But outside of football and basketball, especially in the summer, the WNBA ain't exactly stealing all the eyes away. The MLB All-Star game happened and nobody that I know really cared. So you have events that can be events. I think they should do a better job of marketing it and then distributing it to more people. Just my 2 cents, but I am excited for where the direction is going. I think we can have a 4 Kings era, but in the era with 10 to 12 fighters at multiple different weight classes.
Yeah.
And they just keep fighting and making it happen and getting the promoters out of the way. I would appreciate if they kept the hands off of each other outside of the ring, Caleb Plant.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm a fan, but we're not going to do that. Don't do that.
Well, hopefully that means they about to get it on.
It is. And Caleb, you need to generate some buzz because your last two fights ain't really do what you want them to do.
It was doo-doo.
Or maybe 2 out of his last 3, because I think he beat I forget who he beat, but he beat somebody out the canal.
See, you didn't even know who he beat because it
Right.
was doo-doo.
No, I ain't gonna do that. But it wasn't elite talent, but it was a solid fight. I want to say it was Robert Easter Jr., I think, but I could have that wrong.
You said Robert Downey Jr.
The disrespect. There you go.
Wow for that.
But that brings me to, you want to talk about beef in real time. I don't know if you guys have followed this Johnathan Taylor news. Have y'all been following him?
I'm just starting to catch up to it, man.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a quick timeline, and then I'll have a couple headlines to coincide. Johnathan Taylor, we talked about it on here. Running backs are underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Johnathan Taylor wanted more money, and the Colts said no, and Jim Irsay emphatically said no. Jim Irsay doubled down with some questionable comments that I will post here.
Oh yeah.
I might not have.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
No, this is just about his back injury. So allegedly, what happened was he didn't want to report to camp.
Mm-hmm.
He said, according to it sounds like the Colts sources, that he had a back injury.
Mm-hmm.
Colts have since said, well, if you have a back injury and you can't play all year, we won't count this year towards your contract.
Put you on.
To which Johnathan Taylor responded, never had back pain, never reported back pain. Not sure who sources are, but find new ones.
Okay.
Jim Irsay has come out and basically said, if I died tomorrow and Johnathan Taylor was not in the league, nobody would care about either one of us. So this is not ideal with a football game on Thursday. A lot of running backs are still out of the league or had to take significant pay cuts. Jim Irsay also said there's no way on God's green earth we're trading Johnathan Taylor. So, given what we have ahead of us, what do we expect from the Colts and what do we expect from Johnathan Taylor this year? And are you drafting him in fantasy?
If I was a fantasy guy, no, because it seems like we about to have a Le'Veon Bell situation all over again. I don't expect Johnathan Taylor to actually take a whole year off, but remember, I don't. Just last week, I remember I put Johnathan Taylor as one of my top 3 running backs. Coming into this year,
you did.
So I'm most definitely not expecting him to actually come to this camp like this year. And if I'm the Colts owner, man, we gotta keep this in house. I don't know why everything always got to get outside the house, man.
Not with him.
It's like these owners just don't know how to keep things in house. Sorry, Kenny. Jerry Jones is like another owner.
Diarrhea of the mouth, man. Diarrhea of the mouth.
Keep on, you know what I mean? EDC had our general manager had a little Twitter debate with Rashad Bateman early in the offseason. It's like it does no good for either side. You know what I mean? You can't go against your boss and you can't go against a player that you drafted, really. You know what I mean? You drafted this guy. You are the guy that said, look, I am willing to cut that check for this guy. And for Ersan, to me, it's just, I don't know, man. You can't let your best player sit out because to my opinion, he is your best player on the whole team. So I think that you got to find a way how to keep this noise in-house, and you got to find a way to at least pay you, make your star player happy, make him wants to come to camp.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson and others on that roster, Zaire, Franklin. This is what we're dealing with. Now, as long as you're valuable, you're valuable. But once you're not valuable,
Out of there.
this is what they think. This is how they think and how they're willing to treat you. The blood, the sweat, the tears. For what? And I'm not getting into that.
Ron, starting early, get right to it.
And so it's disappointing. Owners of a franchise conducting themselves this way, but we've seen that. We saw with all the Colin Kaepernick stuff, how they carry themselves, how they feel about these players. And now they are open about it. They are straightforward. There's no cut cards here. There's no mincing of words. I'm the man. You work for me.
That's it.
You ain't going nowhere if I say you ain't going nowhere. And if you out the league tomorrow, nobody will miss you. Like, that's crazy. We have somebody that wanted to react.
Oh, Lord. I'm scared.
What's up with y'all, man? Been a long time coming.
Yeah. Dylan, I agree. I think Spence had a tough go at it.
Hey, man, let me tell you what happened, man, on that fight real quick. Let me give you my quick commentary. You seen how that man came in there with that fishnet, man. He came with that fishnet on. He was listening. Anytime Eminem with him, singing that song, it's
about it.
Oh my God, he's about it. He had his mom there. The nigga had hit he hit some PCP before the fight. That man looked demonic, man. He was punching with. I've never seen him. He looked like he had daddy issues. How hard he was hitting that man. Like he was his dad. It looked like South Central movie. Didn't that look like South Central movie, Kenny, when the man did finally see his dad after he did a bid? He had so much anger in his heart, man. I was like, where Ray at? Where is Ray at? We need somebody to pray. We need somebody to pray for little Ray Ray. We need somebody to pray for little Ray Ray. Like, where's Ray at to pray for this man? Spence needs some holy woods for his face, man. Because his face needed to be recovered quick ASAP.
It was definitely tough for him. Here's the other thing I will say, and to your Rod, you kind of mentioned it. I don't know if y'all saw when they cut the Crawford when he was wrapping his hands.
Oh my God!
Was trying to ask him like, "How you feeling?" He was in a different world. Like, you want to talk about locked in? Like, he just, man, that was impressive. That was
also,
awesome.
Ray, I gotta say this, man. Floyd retired. I'm glad Floyd didn't have to go get something like this. So I think Floyd got his ass whooped, man. He never been against nobody can withstand his fight. Floyd Jr. Floyd never had nobody to withstand and have power in both hands. Who did he go against that had power in both hands like Crawford?
Manny Pacquiao?
Nah, Pacquiao couldn't switch stances though. Orthodox and southpaw.
Switch stances, no, I'll give you that.
That's different.
Yeah, but we're not about to do
But
that.
also, right, and you're not hitting.
Floyd fought an MMA fighter to get 50 wins. Come on, man.
You're not hitting Floyd clean with those shots the way he was hitting Spence with those shots. Floyd's defense is immaculate. So he's not getting those same clean shots off that he was getting off against Errol Spence. So let's not act like Floyd's defense isn't the standard.
No, I think Sweet Pea was a little bit better than Kenny. That's a different story. I'm gonna leave that alone. But I think
I would agree. Well, I think Sweet Pea was more flamboyant with it. They both had the great defense, but Sweet Pea was a little more flamboyant with it with the terms of
Sweet Pea was drinking Coke 45 before every fight. Kenny, come on, let's be real.
I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that with you.
Come on, man. You ever see somebody go to play basketball in high top Air Force Ones and drink Ice Coke 40s? You never seen that. That's crazy, Kenny.
Oh man, hey man, listen, this is totally unrelated. Have you hit any open mics yet? Because you seriously got a gift for comedy, man. You go hit them open mics for real.
Yeah, be careful hitting them open mics in Baltimore.
No, I ain't going to Baltimore, man. I ain't welcome, man. I ain't welcome in Baltimore. I'm gonna have to smell that harbor, man. Harbor and see that terrible university called Morgan State. I don't want to see it, man.
Oh.
Yeah, we ain't taking Rod here, man. We ain't going.
Where you from, Rod?
I'm from the outskirts of Baltimore County. I'm from the outskirts called Harford County. Harford County. That's where all the Baltimore people infiltrate and try to make Carters out there in Edgewood. I'm down the road. You know what I mean? He
the guys that we don't let in the city that much. You know what I mean? You gotta know somebody to come in the city back in the day.
Hey Kenny, it's blocked off from all the methadone clinics Baltimore got. It's not. You can't even drive on the street.
Chill out. I got a lot of family in Baltimore, so we're not going
to. And this is why Rod is not invited to Baltimore.
Why you're not welcome? Yeah, I see.
It's so many methadone clinics. It's terrible. You can't even drive on the
Baltimore
street,
slander going on right now.
But man, Jim Irsay, man, he treating Taylor like, you know, the help, man, and that's what's gonna happen. Look at
straight up, yo, that's a great. You nailed it right there.
What he say?
Just like the help. Treat him
like
just
the help.
The help. And I'm telling you, all these running backs about to switch positions in college. They're gonna start as running backs and they're gonna switch positions. They're gonna become linebackers and shit.
But you know, the only problem with that, Rod, is like if you're 5'8", 5'9", 215, 220, like what position you gonna play unless you're gonna be a slot receiver? You know what I mean? Like running back is kind of your best position when you're at that size and you have that type of speed. So unless you're gonna become a slot receiver, how many guys are really gonna switch positions?
But that's
and if you don't got the hands for it either, that's the other part.
Yeah, we ain't all. It's not all running backs. Look at Christian McCaffrey. He keep on getting the bag. What's the difference from him and Saquon?
We all know what the difference is.
Oh, okay.
Go through training camp, go through preseason, and Sunday at 1:00, all running backs sit down. See what happens. If I'm a running back,
thing is that's going to cost you a game check.
Mm-hmm.
Cost me. I ain't getting much money anyway. Like,
yeah.
Let's see how long we're gonna run our offense with no running backs for blitz pickup, no running backs for short yards. We got a quarterback sneak or run slants, Russell Wilson. Like, you got to prove your value, and the way they're currently doing it isn't working. The undrafted cheap running back Alfred Morris is the shining example. Doesn't benefit him to be good, but you have to be good to stay on the roster because you're a late round pick. And then they're going to try and find a cheaper you after that franchise year.
Well, I'm telling you this, but Saudi big a league, the NFL's in trouble. They already taking all the guard.
Man,
the NFL is over with.
That league better be in America because we still going to be watching NFL.
I'm telling you, them Saudis, man, they got that money.
Big money, long money.
They offer soccer play $800 million. He said no. Come on, man.
That was for one guy for one sport. You got to start building out franchises and stadiums.
They got that bread, man. Elite Lamborghinis on the road, man. Like the same. Come on, man. They got that money over there.
Exactly. Over there. You still need people to go to all them games week in, week out for a whole lot of
I was going to say, all of that Saudi money is, you know, they haven't been able to infiltrate the NFL. So until they infiltrate the NFL, this players are not going to be able to benefit from it. And I don't know if, you know, we talked about it before. We talked about the help. This is an old boys network. So them boys, these NFL owners ain't trying to let these Saudi guys come in and you know, infiltrate and try to get a piece of the pie.
Absolutely. I did want to get to a little fun part of that show, especially what has been at the top of the hour. I saw a cool post by ASAP's own Mike Hughes. It talked about football season.
Yeah.
I thought it was an opportunity for us to kind of go around, share a little bit about ourselves, what we think, who some of our favorite players are. I know we talk a lot of trash on here about different stuff. So we'll just kind of round robin it. Kenny, this first one's for you. NFL team that you hate.
New York Giants. Easy.
Wait a minute. Where are you from?
I had to think. I see where you're going at.
Easy. New York Giants. And I'm from New York. Yes, I hate the Giants. As a
No.
Cowboys fan, I hate the Giants. I was forced to have to watch them every Sunday all my life, and the only time I got to enjoy it was when they were playing the Cowboys. So, yes, I hate the Giants for that reason.
How many teams are in the NFL? 32?
Yeah, but I was in New York, so I only got to watch the Jets and the Giants.
Goodness gracious. All right. Dev.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Rod.
I'm still salty about my perfect season, so I'm with the Giants too. They took my perfect season. So it's like when your baby mom and the child support hit your check and it looked like $1,500, but it's really $500. So I'm still kind of salty about it.
And you're right, they took that. Y'all ain't giving that.
They took that.
This one was tough for me. There's two teams, and here's the tricky part about this for me. I don't even dislike the teams. I dislike the fans of these teams. Because they're just obnoxious and delusional.
The Eagles too. I forgot the Eagles too. The Eagles too.
That it was between the Eagles and the Cowboys for me. I am definitely going to go Cowboys, as I've been on this show with Kenny. Things like what he just said are the reasons why I can't stand Cowboys fans. It's just delusion. It makes no sense. Front runners and bandwagoners typically are what I find over there.
How? We haven't won a championship in 30 years. How are we bandwagon?
Most kids today, the only reason they're fans is because their dad shoved it down their throat. It ain't because they've seen success. So I agree with you. But at a very pivotal time in our country, the Cowboys were successful, and they maximized that through Jerry Jones and his great marketing.
But Kenny, them Eagle fans, they like somebody living, Brooklyn. They got like 5 kids, and you know what I mean? And they just finally got a ring. You know what I mean? A man just finally married them and want to be stepdad to them. That's what kind of situation it is, man.
Yeah, no, see, well, I think the other part of it is that, like I said, being a New York, New Jersey guy, and you're always around just Giants fans, and they're always just talking, and they're always hating, and they never see. You can't find them. When we beat them, you can't find them. But as soon as the Cowboys lose, they're like roaches. They only come out when the Cowboys lose. But when we're winning, when we're beating them, you can't find them. My timeline, only time my timeline lights up is when the Cowboys lose. When we win, the timeline is quiet. And that's the Giants fans. And the only ones that pop up on the timeline when we lose is Giants fans. But you can't find them when we beating them like 5 or 6 games in a row.
That's fair. A friend, I don't know, for friends.
Ooh, going down, big
guy. What you watching, Dave?
TBT. Yeah, me too.
Oh. I got into that a little bit, and then I haven't really watched it the last couple of years, but
this is probably the best time to watch it because these are the quarterfinals about to go into the semifinals.
I saw an Iranian team or something won or something like that. Congratulations to that. But next topic, we got NFL team that's overrated. I'll start this one. I went Giants. I think they significantly overplayed their hand. I don't know why they think they have as much leverage over Saquon as they do. I just hope he don't get hurt. I really do. But I think in this division, with that quarterback, with that offseason, trash. Get him out of here. Rod, who you got?
I got two teams, the Ravens and the 49ers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Lamar's like a mixtape rapper. You know what I mean? He looks good, but you know he can't make no good album. He's like a Fabulous. He only got like one classic. You know what I mean?
Oh, time out. Fabulous is one of the most lyric. We ain't even going. This is a different. We ain't even gonna go there. We gotta move on.
But you know what though? Real quick though, is he more known for his features or is he more known for his album?
His mixtapes.
Nah, he features, but he's had songs, great albums. No, he doesn't have a bunch of great albums.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
But you know what I mean? Lamar's over. Like Lamar got no excuse this year. I don't got no receivers. You know what I mean? But we won't really see what he really looked like this year. I'm you know what I mean? Hopefully he shaved that head because you know what I mean. Them little turds he got in his hair. It looks terrible, man. This man looked like the man off of Boys in the Hood with the pacifier in his mouth. That's what his braids look like. You know what I mean? But I think overrated.
Dookie?
Yeah, Dookie. I'm just saying. They're overrated. They're overrated. The Bills overrated. There's a couple teams. The Bills don't do nothing every year. They get 12 wins.
Pick like 3 teams, man. You got to
stole one of my teams.
I'm sorry.
Oh, damn. Who we got? We got some smoke over there. Who you got smoke for? Who overrated?
I was going to pick the Bills. You know what I mean? But
you pick them to win the division?
Yeah, that's why I said. But since Rod is on the show today, I'm going to make an exception. We already know the New England Patriots are always overrated. Belichick is overrated. We have seen once Tom Brady has left that Belichick has not made the playoffs, not one time yet. He can't even sniff the playoffs right now. My guy can't even be a good GM right now. So I feel like you said what happened?
You better than the Costas. You know what I mean?
Who did y'all draft?
You know what I mean? We draft.
Okay, players. My point exactly. You can't even tell me who y'all draft this year.
You know we don't got Dingaling. We don't got Dingaling. PP Williams. We don't got Dingaling. PP Williams. We don't got.
But y'all got struggling on Mac Jones though.
I mean, he gonna make him a 10.
And y'all got Jacoby Myers that's going to throw the ball back to Mac Jones again.
Oh no, he said he's in Oakland.
So we don't want to talk about that now. So the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick is overrated.
Yeah. Yeah, you stole my thunder on that one. I got to pick another one.
Kenny. I thought you were going to leave my left titty screaming by the time.
Nah, I got to pick it up. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers. For years, they've been talking about how this team is on the verge of being this great team, and Herbert is this generational talent at quarterback. So that's the team for me. And they've been underachieving these last few years. Especially after last year of that epic collapse. I had to watch them collapse right here in Jacksonville where I live against the Jaguars. So they're the overrated team.
Well, hey, Kenny, why all New York Nick Rose go to Florida? I just want to know for a friend.
Get out that cold.
So y'all get gouged on Fridays.
No, I ain't getting none of that. And no state taxes.
I hear that. For sure.
Who you got, Ray? Who overrated in your book?
No, I said Giants. Let's start.
That's right. You did.
Yeah.
Kenny just mentioned the team, but I will ask you, Rod. We'll start with you. NFL team that's underrated.
I think the Cleveland Browns, man. I think the Cleveland Browns will have a good year this year. I think people are overlooking them.
That's a good one.
You know what I mean? Deshaun gonna have all the massage parlors in Cleveland. They're gonna be quiet, and he's gonna ball out this year. You know what I mean?
Lovely. Dev, who you got?
I feel like I want to go with Detroit Lions.
That's a good one too.
I feel like what they has been building for the last couple of years, and what Dan Campbell has been able to produce with the quarterback that he has. I feel like he was still able to keep the Detroit Lions relevant. And they don't get a lot of love, so I give it to the Detroit Lions.
And also, I want to give credit to their basketball league. They won their second title this year. You You know what I mean? The one against a couple people was in wheelchairs, so I don't know if it really counts.
Here you go.
Go ahead, man.
Here you go. Here you go.
Kenny, who you got?
I'm going Seattle Seahawks.
Believe in Geno.
Yeah. I think that they're underrated. I think Geno's, finally got a situation to where he's feels comfortable, and he came into his own last year. And they caught a lot of teams by surprise last year, and I think that they're on the rise. Because, and I got to give Pete Carroll some credit, because I've been on the record in terms of saying that it was time for him to let it go. I think that he was past his getting a little too old, and he's proven me wrong. So I like the Seahawks as the underrated team.
Okay. I like that. I do not know if I'm riding a Geno train again this year, but I respect it. I'm
Called that man a Hall of Famer. Now you off?
Oh,
Relax.
Am I lying, Dev?
I didn't say he was a Hall
Who
of
did go ahead and cut my cam off?
But I did think he was better than he had a heck of a performance, and he did definitely overachieve last year, and I'm happy for him for that. I am going to go with Kenny's home, new home. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars got something. They got to stay healthy. That division is atrocious. The Jim Irsay looks even worse. They got Hopkins and Henry, but Henry don't want to be there. They don't want him there, and I don't know who else they got to throw the ball to besides Hopkins. So I think Jacksonville.
Is Robert Woods still there?
Yeah, I think they did bring him back.
he's been burnt out like a backwood. He's been burnt out.
Hell, boy. He has seen better days for sure. I agree with that for facts. But I like Jacksonville. I think they're gonna do something.
I don't think they're a surprise team no more, though. I think a lot of people are starting to ride their wave this year.
Nobody pick them to do nothing. I hear Buffalo.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna pick them to win that division.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. There's a lot of people riding their wave this year. I'm starting to hear a lot of people rave about the Jaguars this year. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they new bandwagon riders until the wagon don't ride no more. But I'm starting to hear a lot of rave about the Jaguars though.
Is that a shot? You think y'all going farther than the Jags?
Who, the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know he's comfortable about that. He wearing his Death Row black turtleneck.
Why you talking? Y'all going farther than the Jags?
The Jags. Who are those?
I mean, that is AFC.
Come on, man. Fabio, we ain't worried about Fabio.
That means they ain't worried about him.
We about to win our division. I already put it on the record. I already put my money down.
Rod, you heard it here first. The Jags will be in the playoffs and you will be at home.
Oh no, I don't do that. Y'all gonna be at home. Y'all gonna be at home. Ooh. The Commanders.
That's possible.
Y'all not gonna detect a playoffs like Magic. You know what I mean? Magic is
better than you.
Sam Howell?
Mac Jones? Who?
You can put some time money on it if you want it.
We can talk about it. I mean, I think they're both bad, but
if the Warriors not making the playoffs, the Commanders ain't making the playoffs.
He called you out twice.
He's wrong, so we don't even.
There's only one good team in LA now, man. The Lakers now. Y'all number 3 now, man.
Okay.
The Sacramento Queens over y'all right now.
Keep that same energy.
Did you say the Queens?
Keep that same energy. I love it.
The Warrior blouse. I call it San Francisco blouses.
The season come around, don't be ducking.
I'm hard to find.
Don't be taking your cues from Chris.
I'm 6'1" and 280. You gonna see me.
All right. I know where to find you. Teams you love. I think we all know where everybody's at. Some of us made good decisions as children, some not, but it's all right. NFL team that you secretly root for. Dev, I'm curious.
The Steelers.
Hell no.
Nah.
That would be something.
Hell no. I don't really secretly root for nobody. You know what I mean? I just
Baltimore,
if it's a good football game, you know what I mean, long as it's a good game, you know what I mean? That's all I really care for. I'm a diehard black and purple, so I really don't secretly root for. I don't have no second team.
Yo, Ray, it's a lie. Yo. Ray, it's a lie. They didn't come to 97. Come on, man. You know you liked a different NFL team before the Raiders came, man.
First of all, we was established in 96. Let's get it right.
Come on. You like a different team, yo. Come on, stop it.
No. I'm not gonna say I was a fan. I'm not gonna say I liked that team, but you know what I mean. It wasn't like I was a diehard because it was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they was only a year in before the Ravens even came. So you really can't even say that.
So you're just not gonna support the
You was
Commanders?
watching the Jaguars?
I was a Jaguars fan, you know, Frank,
Mark
McKenna McCardell, Mark Brunell,
No,
Jimmy Smith, Nathan Means, Fred Taylor. You know, what I mean, that was a decent team, but I wouldn't say I was.
That was interesting.
You know, I just wasn't.
Still a fan with David quarterback?
Hell no. Once the Ravens was established, it was no longer.
I knew you were cheating on the Ravens.
See, Rod, just because you be cheating on the Patriots, man. When y'all not having a good season. I don't. No way, Damien. No way. I ain't never rooting for no Dolphins. But no, on for real, though, I don't secretly root for another team, though.
Kenny?
Oh, you'll like this one, Ray. The Jets. That's the team.
Wait, time out.
My brother is a Jets fan, and one of my best friends is a Jets fan. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny just lost me for the rest of the show.
Hey, listen, I can't root for the Giants, so what? Of course.
You hate the Giants the most, but you secretly root for the Jets.
They play the same stadium.
Yeah. Like I said, my brother is a Jets fan, and one of my best friends is a Jets fan. So,
all right.
And one of my uncles is a Jets fan. So,
oh man,
sing the song real quick, Kenny. Sing the song real quick.
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, he secretly liked them.
You picked the losing of the franchise. At least the Giants, the Jets are butt fumblers.
That's why they're the underdog. You know,
Fumble and Tony Romo. You really know how to pick them.
They're miserable. They had a lot of misery, so I feel their pain.
I did not see that one coming. I ain't even gonna lie.
Forget it.
Hey, Kenny, that's like choosing Tiny out of the skate, man. What's wrong with you, man?
That's like what?
Choosing Tiny off the skate instead of Candy, man. What's wrong with you,
man? That's funny.
Who do you secretly root for, Ray?
I am a fan of greatness.
Oh Lord, Tom Brady ain't here no more. So who you secretly rooting for now?
Tom has left
me,
right, but he has left me in good hands by a man named Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They've taken good care of me, not great care as I would like. But I'm a fan of players, and I just love what they do. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, even though you got to stop punching your teammates. Draymond can get away with it and get an extra deal, a new contract, but I wouldn't keep signing that, especially
when about to get a whole new contract now because of Kelce.
And when your primary job is to catch the ball, I don't think punching people is the best career decision. That's just me. But, you know, it happens.
Man, I didn't know y'all had so many Poly fans, man. Y'all Poly fans, man. Y'all got 2 teams. That's crazy, man.
No.
That's crazy to me.
I bet y'all know where I stand. So it is what it is. This is where we get good. I think we're going to probably be aged out. To our younger audience, I apologize for all the old men on here, but if you hear some people that you don't know, it's okay. We have Google, we have smartphones, we have Chat GPT. You can look up some of these names that you might hear in a moment, but I'm just giving you a pre-warning, little old cast. So, favorite wide receiver all time, Rod. You should have one answer, but I'll see what you have to say.
I got a couple though.
We knew that.
No, we have one. That's the favorite.
Oh man, that's hard, man. That's so many good technicians. It's hard.
All right, you jumped on late. You didn't see the topic, so I'll give you a moment to think.
All right, go
ahead. Chris Carter. Chris Carter.
Oh yeah, he was a crazy boy. He was snoring lines before the Ohio State games back in the day. And the Minnesota games. That boy was crazy, man.
I was not even going there. Yo.
Hey, Kenny, you know what's so great about them back in the 80s, though? Warren Moon beat the crap out of his wife in the NFL. It's like, yo, Warren Moon didn't do it. Yo, that shit was legendary, man.
Man, listen. So I'm not talking about that. I want to talk about he probably had the best set of hands that I've ever seen. The king of the one-handed catch. Probably, he's OBJ before OBJ. So yeah, Chris Carter was my favorite.
He's nice, but he ain't do what OBJ did.
You got to see his one-hand catch reel. It's pretty serious.
He ain't got what OBJ got. That's all I know. He ain't got that big joker. But fair enough. That was more modern than I was expecting. I
got one for running back.
I didn't know how far he was gonna go back. Dev, favorite all-time wide receiver.
I'm scared to say something because Rod might got something to say about the guy. You know what I mean? But Randy Moss is my all-time favorite wide receiver.
Okay, cool.
Nothing else to be said. Randy Moss. We all know what type of career he had.
As someone that looked forward to Randy Moss playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, Randy Moss brought me great joy. And he has taken the top spot for me as well, mainly because he loved to make Dallas look terrible in front of everybody. Just loved it. T.O. was a close second. I like entertainers and producers, but Randy Moss for me. Rod, you've had some time. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ocho, man, because this man's legendary, man. He said he should take Viagra before every game. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That is some crazy talk. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man.
Yo, where do you get this from? What are you talking about? How that man gonna play with Viagra and we didn't know about it?
Those are true facts. You can look it up.
Really?
That's a real statement?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't.
Nah, yeah.
But wait, hold up. How do we not see it in this uniform? Pause.
I wasn't looking.
But I'm just saying,
it's a blood thing. It's almost like drinking caffeine. Like it makes you. Besides just that.
That's legendary, man. That's legendary. Man.
Yeah, that's legendary right there.
That's legendary focus. Pause. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, I never knew that. That's a fun fact.
It's a fun fact.
All right. I wouldn't suggest everybody to do that at home, but it's been done.
I'll start this one off. Staying with one of the same teams Randy played for. My favorite current wide receiver is now highly crowned going into this year. I am team Justin Jefferson all day, every day. Best receiver in the league for me right now today. So he is my favorite, with Scary Terry being a close second because he's from the town. Dev, who you got for your favorite current NFL wide receiver?
Mr. Crybaby himself, Mr. Stephon Diggs. You know what I mean? Even though he throw temper tantrums, when he don't get the ball, but he kind of got a right to throw a little temper tantrum because when he do get the ball, he do make explosive plays. He is, I believe, there's a top 5 wide receiver in this league. So I'm gonna have to go with Stephon Diggs.
We will be revisiting that topic soon.
I thought we had this conversation last year.
You got to update your resume. Got to update the resume. We got some time.
Yeah. I thought, but I know because I remember you had Tyreek Hill in yours, and I don't think nobody else had Tyreek Hill, or maybe Chris might have.
Haters hate.
Can't remember.
He picked Denver. Like, get him out of here. Who you got for your favorite current wide receiver? Michael Gallup or something.
He gonna say CeeDee Lamb. Watch.
Who, me? No, I got Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill. He he could literally, the way he makes plays and the way he takes the top off of a defense, he could take a doggone smoke route and take that 100 yards. So yeah, his speed is just special.
And Rod.
I'm gonna go with Henry Rugg. His speed is legendary.
Yo,
no, he didn't.
You're gonna stop, man. Well, we're trying to have a serious conversation here, man. Come on, man. Henry Ruggs.
All right, I'm going with Jordan Addison, man. I'm going with Jordan
Addison. I believe the young lady who lost her life in that situation.
Yeah, you wow.
Our prayers and condolences there.
My fault.
But we're gonna keep it moving at a slow speed.
Please.
To a con man for me, but I just love the way he played the position. My favorite running back, Clinton Portis. For those of you who may not be from the area, he would wear costumes to post-game shows. He had a number of different personalities. One of the best pass blocking and receiving backs of his generation. And he could run the ball. He did it not just in Denver's system. He came to Washington and brought us some success as well. Post-career, not the best, but you got to be careful where you invest. So Clinton Portis for me. Kenny, who you got as your favorite running back all time?
Tony Dorsett. The reason I became a Dallas Cowboys fan. Tony Dorsett. Smoothest running back I ever seen.
It's because he's never seen me, but that's okay. Dev, who you got as your favorite running back?
EDAP. Adrian Peterson. My favorite running back. One of the most violent running backs of all time. Between him and Bo Jackson, man. I don't think no linebacker, no defender wanted to stand in front of these guys when they was coming at it full hit of steam, man. My man Adrian Peterson was never shy of no contact, man. He was always looking for the contact.
Dad, would you say Adrian Peterson was more dangerous in the open field or with a Gucci belt in his hand?
Oh, see.
I expect that from Rod.
Right.
I like that. I like that pen.
But from the way the NFL and the kid was saying, it looked like that belt was way more dangerous.
Fair enough. Rod, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Frank Gore, man. You know what I mean? That man is strong. Look at his son. Look how strong that man is. A stud. Pause. That man is like a champion line pit bull. You know what I mean? You got a son running 300 yards in one game. Also, I gotta go with Marshawn. I gotta go with Marshawn too, man. That man was drinking Henny before the game. Yeah. He was drinking 6 shots of Henny before a game.
Yeah. See, I wasn't talking about that, but go ahead.
Boy, Rob letting her all the secrets. The Viagra.
They from your all time and out, off the field. Where I know about it, boy. I'll tell you.
They from my hood. That's all I gotta say. They from my hood. They some outside.
They from outskirts, huh?
let's go current. Rod, who's your current favorite NFL running back?
I'm gonna go with my young boy, Ramon Trey Stevenson. I think he's an upper comer. You know what I mean? I like that young boy.
Homer. Dev, who you got?
J.K. Dobbins.
Nah.
I say Nick Chubbs. Huh?
No. Derrick Henry. Like I said, I like running backs that is, pretty much is not scared of that contact. That's like to go through the A gap. And we all know Derrick Henry is most definitely is not scared of contact. One of the meanest stiff arms in the game.
He ended Earl Thomas' career. Let me say that too. He ended his career.
Oh yeah, he spent him out of Baltimore. So that was it.
Yeah, Earl Thomas, what a fall from grace. Just a quick update. I don't know if you guys can see this. Apparently, Terrence Crawford and Wallow of Philadelphia were speaking. Excuse the language, but Wallow is insinuating that Boots is waiting. Terrence Crawford responded, "You trying to see another dead body?"
Oh,
we have action. Terrence Crawford welcoming all comers.
Who's going to be going
dead body?
You better go on Ramadan and be hungry for that fight.
And Spence, the clock's ticking. If you want to get this rematch, because there's other fights to be made. So figure it out and figure it out soon. But I really hope the next fight's not in Omaha, though. I prefer Vegas fights.
It's cold, boy.
That's just me.
That's what Buns and Niles got caught up in Nebraska, man.
Yeah. Kenny, who you got current?
I got the same Derrick Henry. I love physical backs. He's probably got the best stiff arm I've seen since my guy, rest in peace. Oh shoot, I can't. Marion Barber.
But you remember when Marion Barber got lifted up by Julius Peppers when he lifted him up off the ground, lifted him up like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese?
Hey, Julius Peppers was a man. So that ain't saying much. But yeah, like his physicality, man, and just the way he has guys out there making business decisions. That's what Derrick Henry's doing for me.
For sure. I'll close this out here. I like Nick Chubb. I like he's just business minded, blue collar, figures it out, keeps producing. I believe he's going to bring Deshaun some success this year. I think they're going to regret not going and getting DeAndre Hopkins, but that's a conversation for another day. But I like Nick Chubb, and hopefully he can make some real money, and they won't play him like others have. Let's get to the preeminent position. Favorite current quarterback. Y'all know where I stand. I said it earlier. Patty Mahomes, best in the league, best doing it. Potentially best chance to be the best to ever do it, but long way to go. That is a really Mount Everest type mountain he still has to climb. But Kenny, I'll start with you. Favorite current quarterback.
You kind of took my answer on that one, so I'm gonna go Joe Burrow. I love his swag. I love his confidence, and I just love the way he's turned around that franchise in Cincinnati. He had been a joke of a franchise for many years. Other than the Marvin Lewis years, they kind of had a few good years there, but for the most part, they've been pretty embarrassing for the most part. So yeah, Joe Burrow. I love his swag and his confidence.
Dev.
Staying with the hometown, Lamar Jackson is my favorite current quarterback right now. Just electrifying. He can do it all in my eyes. I feel like this is the year that he can finally prove some haters, some doubters wrong this year with a different OC this year. And yeah, it's just me being biased also.
Also, just quick update, more, I guess you call it breaking news. KJ Hamler has just announced he's been diagnosed with pericarditis, which apparently he said after feeling some chest pains while working out on the break before camp started, I got everything checked out and was diagnosed with mild heart irritation called pericarditis. Great treatment plan with medicine and taking a quick break to get all this taken care of. So prayers to him. Not sure what the time frame is, but yeah, we obviously had the Bronny Jr. situation and others, so definitely take care of his health. Hopefully, he comes back stronger and better there. But they just want to share that with the people. Rod, who you got? Favorite quarterback?
I like the Cougar hunter, Zach Wilson. I'm hopefully he plays this year.
Hold on, wait, what?
Hey, yo, you got to stop.
What? What?
You got to stop.
The what, Hunter?
The Cougar hunter. The Mountain Lions.
And you said who?
Zach Wilson.
A-Rod back up?
Yeah. I'm hopefully Aaron Rodgers get hurt so Zach Wilson come in.
You got to stop.
Yo. Oh, man.
Lord have mercy.
This is your fault, Ray. This is your fault.
This is your fault. We can talk about it later. All right. The fun category, or the funner of the two. Favorite quarterback all time. Dev, I'll start with you. And please don't say Lamar Jackson.
No.
Speak me there.
Nah. Donovan McNabb. Is he between Donovan McNabb and Warren Moon? My all-time favorite quarterbacks. Yes, Ray. Yes, I said it. Between those two.
Hate Donovan McNabb.
Just because he came out of Washington and stunk up the place.
He stole all that money, too. He stole a lot of money.
He was a bum. He tried to air out T.O. He was choke artist, typical Philly style. Ugh. Donovan. Oh, man.
But yeah, between those two, though.
Kenny, who you got?
Oh, Troy Aikman. No question about it.
All time?
My favorite. Brought me all my championships. Why wouldn't he be my favorite quarterback?
He brought him, or he
I'm
was
saying he was the quarterback for the team that won all those
Jerry
games.
Jones sold his soul for them championships, man. Y'all know that.
Okay.
Sure looks that way because we haven't won one since.
Rod, who you got?
It's Dan Marino because he was the plug in college. He was
the Broncos waived him.
You know, he was a plug in college. If you know, Dan Marino was that man. Dan Marino and Joe Theismann. I never seen a man take a hit like that. That was impressive.
Okay.
Andy Pretzel.
So please explain to me how Dan Marino beat Tom Brady.
Dan Marino beat Tom Brady.
Yeah, you had Tom Brady in your organization for all those years, and he ain't your favorite quarterback of all time.
Tom Brady's a game manager. Tom Brady's a game manager.
He's a winner.
We're gonna move on. We are going to move on. I can't believe you said that. My favorite all-time quarterback is
highly disrespectful.
A left.
Jason Campbell. You said Jason Campbell.
I did not say that. You can't talk. You picked Dan Marino.
Dan Marino was a legend. Kenny, tell me he's a legend, Kenny.
Brady.
He was, but you can't pick him over Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was a game manager, yo. Look at them Super Bowls, man. Look at all them Super Bowls we won. We had a top 5 defense. Come on, man.
Just the arrogance of look at all the Super Bowls we won. He was a game manager.
He was a game manager.
I guess Troy Aikman was a game manager too, huh?
Mac Jones.
Right, you hear him tell it.
And I don't want to hear nothing about talent because there wasn't a bunch of talent at skill positions throughout the majority of Tom Brady's career besides tight end. So
we got a couple good receivers.
We got about 3 more years before we really got to revisit that Tom Brady, Bill Belichick discussion. I'm gonna give him about 3 more years, and if it's still trending the way it's going, Bill can hang it up. But no,
said Justin Fields. What's wrong with this Damien, man?
He from Chicago. He is young. But the true Justin, the best version of Justin Fields.
Oh, he look like he doing some
from Virginia. Shout out to Michael Vick, who made it out much farther than his brother. But he had brotherly love.
What? Michael Vick over Tom Brady?
Yeah, for sure. Greatness, they're not in the same stratosphere.
Hey Ray, would you take that charge? Would you take that charge from him? I would have took the charge from him. Somebody should have took that charge.
It depends on how much he offered. Because Devin Haney clearly wasn't offering enough with his gun charge. So it's a spare of the moment. You better make me the right deal, and I'll take some money. I'm not really jail material, but for the right price, I'll do what they got to do.
For the right price.
For the right price, everybody for sale.
Ooh, wait, everybody the street walk.
Okay.
You probably do it for Louis Bell.
The price is a little different. God bless everybody that has to make a living through ill-gotten gains or less happy means. But all the players we've been talking about, for the most part, I believe have been able to make honest, good money. And so we will cap this off. Who with your favorite player of all time? Kenny, you've had the most history. You've seen the most players. So I'll start with you.
All right, I'm going to go even further back for this one.
Damn, Kenny, how far back? 1915?
Nah, I ain't going that far back, but Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell was my favorite player of all time.
Oh, yeah, that man did have a big hit from a pulse.
Man, he did another dude that ran with bad intentions and just was like had people making business decisions as well. Just super physical. I'm as you can tell, I'm a big fan of physical backs. So yeah, Earl Campbell is my favorite player of all time.
So how is he not your favorite running back of all time?
Because I told you. That's why I became a Cowboys fan, was Tony Dorsett.
Okay, we're going to keep it moving. Dev, favorite player of all time?
Favorite player of all time. He said it. Ray Lewis. He was the one. He was one of the main reasons how I really got deep into football, and I actually started film study. It's because of Ray. He actually.
Did you keep a knife like him?
Yeah. Just like, I was ready for him. You know what I mean? I had people ready to take the charge for the limo and everything. But no, Ray Lewis is most definitely one of the main reasons why I really got deep into football. And he was our number one draft pick here in Baltimore too. So
you prefer Ray Lewis off the field or Aaron Hernandez off the field?
Ooh, wow.
I go with Ray Lewis because Ray Lewis they get caught.
I could have went a very, very dark way, and I'm not going to do it. But
I felt like we was getting ready to go down that tunnel, man. I swear. That's why I said what I said. He didn't get caught.
I might send it in chat if I want to just.
I'm with you.
But for me, my favorite all-time, rest in peace, Sean Taylor, 21-36, hometown hero, tragically lost his life. Unfortunately, but it happens. And shame on Dan Snyder for that disaster memorial they gave him. Hopefully,
Magic Johnson getting them gotta do better.
It's a new day in Washington. New day. So let's get to it. And real quick, I don't know if y'all saw the reports.
What about me? I didn't get a chance, dog.
Nah, you don't get no favorite player of all time. I thought you gonna be like Ray Finkel or some crazy.
I was gonna say Michael Irvin, man. Michael Irvin was legendary in them hotels.
He did lines with Chris Carter too. So what you saying?
Yeah, hotel parties.
Oh, God.
Damien, I'm guessing for the same reason he would take OJ because he kind of got away with it.
That's Chloe Daddy, man. Be quiet about Chloe Daddy.
And I ain't gonna hold y'all. I don't think they proved Aaron Hernandez did it either, but I think he did it. I just don't think they proved it. But neither here nor there. Let's get to the NFC East. Two of us are represented here. One of us,
you disappointed me.
Every Philly topic there seems to be. For such a critic of the Philadelphia sports franchise, he conveniently finds ways to miss their topics, but that's okay because we accept all people here, duckers and chokers alike. So we are going to rank the NFC East teams. I appreciate honesty and transparency. Flagrancy and disrespect may be met with hostility, but that's why we're here. So, just for those of you who don't know, we have the Washington currently named Commanders, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Giants. If we're ranking from best to worst, Kenny, you are in the division with me. Give it to me straight. Who you got?
This is pretty easy to me. You got the Eagles 1, Cowboys 2, Giants 3, and Washington 4. You know, the Eagles are the class of the division, defending champions, went to the Super Bowl, probably got better in the offseason. The Cowboys, to me, are the clear second best team in the division, offensively and defensively. Probably on the same par. The only really the difference right now is the quarterback position in terms of one's taking care of the ball and one's not. And then the Giants are coming off a playoff season as well, so that to me is clear cut.
I promise you will be wrong, Kenny.
I'm sure you hope so. I mean, the facts are the facts, though.
Damian has gotten into the action with some disrespect as well. We are Terrence Crawford. We welcome all disrespect. Dev, who you got?
I'm gonna take the Eagles, Cowboys, Washington, Giants. I'm still not sold on the Giants. I don't think the Giants even really made a big splash other than signing Danny Dimes this offseason. They having trouble with Saquon. And Saquon gonna have something to prove, but I just don't feel like they did enough to to even compete in this division. And other than Washington quarterback play, I think Washington is the complete team. Cowboys and the Eagles, pretty much the same teams from last year, except for the Cowboys. They went out and got Gilmore to solidify the other side of that corner to help Travion Diggs out because he's the most definitely a gambler like Chris. So and then the Eagles, they just went out and got Georgia all over their whole line, their whole roster. So they called the Philadelphia Bulldogs in my eyes, man. But I still feel like Philly is the deepest team throughout the whole division. So that's what I'm gonna go with: Philly, Cowboys, Washington, Giants.
Rod, you are new here. You're an AFC East guy, but we'll get your NFC East opinions. What you got for us?
I got the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Washington, man. I think it's gonna take a while to rebuild Washington, man. You guys saying how I can't trust the North Carolina quarterback.
Dang, that's it. Why? Because he's from North Carolina. You don't trust him.
Mike Trubisky, Mike Trubisky.
I'm not saying that it was a bad analysis. I'm just saying, is that because he's from North Carolina? Or?
They can't produce no quarterbacks out of North Carolina.
You heard it here first.
Let's see if Ray's gonna be objective.
I will submit to your Eagles pick. I will. Who's y'all starting back in Dallas, Kenny?
Deuce Vaughn.
Tony Pollard.
The second best team in the NFC East will be the Washington Commanders.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I said I wanted to see if he was going to be objective, but go ahead.
And it pains me to say that.
This early, right? This
with
early.
With Sam Howell at quarterback, you got them as the second best team in the
Taylor Heineke led us to the playoffs with a lesser team. Chase Young is coming back in a franchise year, in a contract year. We've locked up our skill positions. Brian Robinson is back from his gunshot wound. He's had an off season. We've addressed some issues on defense. We've got some secondary young guys that can get the ball and score the ball. The writing's there. I would love for us to be terrible and then the fire Ron Rivera so that Eric Bieniemy can take the reins. So I'm not upset if we're terrible. I'm not. But I just don't think we will be. I think we have everything there with Eric Bieniemy helping Sam Howell along. I don't think he gets worse. And I don't believe in the Giants. I've never really believed it. That's not true. I've fallen out of love with Dak Prescott. I just don't think he's that guy. And I thought he was coming out of college, but he's disappointed me. I don't like your running game. I think you're getting old on the offensive line. Somebody just sat out, or y'all have a lineman or something I just read.
Zach Martin he want a contract.
He'll get his money. He'll get his money.
So I think it's an aging team. Y'all just gave Stephon Diggs.
Aging? Yeah.
Y'all just gave him a ton of money. That I guess this year it'll be fine, but that was a gamble in my opinion.
Aging where though? Where is the team aging?
The offensive line and the offensive line aging.
I think the offensive line.
The left tackle is a rookie, a second or third year. All got his agent is Martin.
I think the linebacking core is getting a little older. I guess you want to consider Parsons a lineman.
Van Der Esch is young. Parsons is young.
Young. He's had mad neck injuries.
He's only been in the league for he's on a 1 year deal after his rookie contract. So he's young.
I don't know.
He's another Sean Lee.
He got injury concerns, but he ain't old. I'm just saying I'm not seeing where
I'll let the tight end go. So I don't know. I'm not sold on y'all. I don't think it'll be bad.
So you going on the record and saying that the Commanders are going to be better than the Cowboys this year?
Absolutely.
I'm paying attention to y'all division this year.
Remember how that worked out for you with the last time you tried that with the NBA with the
I did, and then we had a mid-season crisis, and we fixed that.
Oh boy! No, here we go.
Wow, it is what it is. And then Giants. I think we will see the NFC East produce 3 playoff teams again. I think the NFC West is down. The NFC North, I think you'll get 1 team out of there. And the South is not much there either. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's a bold prediction, man. Wow. Did you eat some figs and sit in the wilderness for 40 days before you came up with that idea?
Hey,
but
we'll be better than you.
Right. So you know, he said the same thing about that the Wizards were going to be better than the Knicks last year, and then in the middle of the season, he started talking about Kyle Kuzma ruined the season because of his off-field issues, and so
he did. Team chemistry had to break it up. It happens. It happens.
We'll see what the reason is this year for football.
I mean, it's a make or break at our quarterback. If he's trash, then we'll be trashed. But they're saying the right things. I'll trust what they saying. And if he's good, if he's decent, we're gonna be all right. If he can be decent, we're gonna be pretty good. So we'll see. We will see. Let's get into these defensive units before we get out of here because they say defense wins championships. I think this division has by far the best defensive lines in NFL. But defensive units, we're going to do the same thing. Let's rank them. Defensive units in the NFC East. I will start with the Eagles at 1. I think they got better potentially in this offseason, as incredible as that is. I'm actually just going to go in the same order. I think Washington, we're going to be better defensively. I think Dallas will take a step back. I know.
Your hate is incredible.
I'm just telling you what I feel. Gilmore, I
It's
know
clearly clouding your judgment.
it sounds good, but I don't know. And then the Giants, I just think that team's going to be a mess all year. So I think they'll be in some games. I think we will learn how to defend Daniel Jones better. And obviously, this is all predicated on health. So assuming the majority of the key players stay healthy, that's my order. Dev, I'll go with you.
I think I'm gonna go with the same order how I picked the winners. I think it's gonna be Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants.
Kenny?
I'm flipping. I got Dallas 1, especially with the adding of Stephon Gilmore. To me, that was really the missing piece to the puzzle. Is that's always been the weakness of the secondary was that second cornerback, which kind of I believe led to Diggs taking more chances. So I think he's going to be even more solid this year. Now having Gilmore at his side, and Gilmore is going to be even better. Where he's necessarily not going to have to take on the number 1 receiver responsibility. So, so I got Dallas, especially in defensive line, speaks for itself with Parsons and D-Law. I do think that the Eagles' defensive line did get better, especially with their draft pick. But the other part to me is them losing Darnold Johnson, I think, was a big loss. So I think it's going to hurt them in their secondary. So that's why I'm picking Dallas over Philly. But I will flip though, and give the Redskins the Commanders the third spot. I won't put them in dead last for this one. I'll put the Giants in their last position.
And Rod.
I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles, Cowboys, and then y'all last.
Hey,
Works for me. Under the radar.
You know what I mean? It's good to be the underdog, man.
I agree. Before we go, I do have a quick NBA topic. Something that came up with obviously the amount of money that is being given away. Jaylen Brown. The short answer is he worth $300 million. And now that you've given him $300, would you turn around next summer and give Jason Tatum another $300 million? Rod, I'll start with you.
I think they overpaid, man. When is he going to get a good handle, man? Yeah, I don't think he's evolving his game enough to get that kind of supermax deal. I think it'd been better if you put the money on Jason Tatum.
Kenny?
You can't get both players all that money. Go ahead.
Well, I think he was in the right place at the right time. Is he worth that money? Probably not. But again, in the right place at the right time. So you are what you negotiate. So, and they're talking about. I think the other part is that if he's getting 300, they're talking about SGA getting 400. So I think this is going to open up the floodgates for guys to really get these bags. But that's a great point, Rod, that you make. I don't know how they're going to be able to afford both of those guys going forward, because there's a lot of money being tied up in Jaylen Brown. So, but I want to salute him, though, because I don't know if you guys saw his press conference, but he was talking about bringing Black Wall Street to Boston, one of the things that he wants to do with the, with his money.
Ain't gonna happen.
Listen, anything is possible. So I want to be positive on that, and hopefully he can get it done. But the fact that his mind frame is in that state of mind, that's what I really salute him for. The fact that he wants to bring economic empowerment to our people in that area. So I want to salute him for that. But I'm not sure if he's worth that money. We're gonna find out. But he's opening up the floodgates for other guys to get paid. So I'm good with it.
Dev.
I think they overpaid him. And the question is, what you gonna do with Tatum when it's time for him to get his money? You got a guy that was fourth in the MVP conversation versus the guy that we don't even know if he's a true number one on any other team, really. Jaylen Brown is a all-star player, but he got paid a number one money. And
yes,
if you feel that he's your number one, then what are you really feeling about Tatum? You know what I mean? Because they had that back and forth, your turn, my turn, you lead this team, I'll lead this team. Then it's, when Tatum can't produce, we got Brown. But when we seen in the playoffs last year, they didn't have both when neither one of them could produce. Brown, it was a little saying that Brown couldn't go left. Every time he went left, he caused turnovers. So it's just, I'm confused if I'm Boston. You know what I mean? Because do we keep Brown over Tatum, or do we keep Tatum over Brown, or is this the contract that maybe eventually you'll buy into somebody that's willing to trade for Jaylen Brown in the future? But the way you paying them, I don't think nobody's going to bite. That's like a Russell Westbrook contract a couple years ago to the NBA. Nobody was willing to bite on that contract. So I'm confused with Boston, was thinking they must got some big spenders and that's endorsing them, because if Tatum somehow gets some type of money, like what if Tatum become MVP next year? You know what I mean? He's gonna want that bag. He's gonna most definitely probably want double what Jaylen Brown had got this year. So I think Boston is dug itself in a hole that they can't get themselves out of.
But that when he go left, it feel like Oils from Norman Jeans or Magic City gets on the ball or something, because he just ball out of bounds. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I thought you were a professional. I thought you supposed to work on going your left since you was in AAU.
Yeah, but I will give him credit though, is that since he's coming to the league, he's gotten better every year. So he's willing to put in. We've seen him put in the work, because when he first came in the league, his jump shot was suspect. So he's gotten to the point where his jump shot has gotten consistent. So I think that's just going to be another thing that he's going to add to his bag, and I think he's going to get better with it. So I'm not worried about him with that. But I will say that you getting your money in Boston is something different. Like, you got to get it done, because they will let you know if you're not getting it done. So
you're gonna send the ER on you. They're gonna call you
right.
ER.
If he starts struggling and turning the ball over and things of that nature, the Boo Birds will come out and come out quick, fast, and in a hurry.
A few months ago, maybe a year ago now, Jaylen Brown was running around with the guy I know and love. I don't know. Better.
Oh boy.
Oh, I remember this conversation.
Jaylen Brown is built for the criticism. He took the stances he's taking. He came out with a little too PC of a press conference in the Black Wall Street thing. I like the sentiment, but it was a little too much for me. Seemed a little corny-ish, but I believe his heart's in the right place. So I fully support it. I think they had no choice. Boston had all them picks for a long time, And this is kind of the culmination of it. Marcus Smart is now gone. All that old regime is gone. What is your future? And they believe with the proper work and help, Jaylen Brown can be what they want him to be. I am not going to doubt Jaylen Brown. I think he was one of the best players they had in the playoffs in many games. He was better than Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum can come and go as well. Jaylen Brown kept him in a couple games that Jason Tatum did close. I both think they need to work on going left. Will they Julius Randle it or will they figure it out? I don't know. Some people be stuck in their ways, especially if you get $300 million. Makes it a little difficult to convince me I need to change. But I think you will. I do not know that a title is in their future while Steph is still around, but I think the East is available to be won. I think Miami is missing their window. I think Milwaukee's window is about up, and they have the potential to LeBron it almost and go to a bunch of finals in the East for an extended period of time. If you go enough, you'll fool around and win one. So I think it was the right decision.
Well, we didn't hear to disrespect LeBron like that. Don't put him in the same bucket with them young moves, man.
I'm saying they could go on a title run like he did. That was.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's a thought. Maybe not 10 in a row. Not 10 in a row. No, I don't know if we'll ever see it.
Yeah, right, Ray.
But now I got to start talking about how many did you win, and we don't need to have that conversation. It's late.
All right, man.
So I think it was the right decision. I think in 3 to 4 years, the same way we thought about $500 million from Patrick Mahomes, this won't look as bad. And to the SGA point, to the Tatum point, to a lot of these other younger guys, these numbers are going to get crazy.
Crazy.
So, much respect to all them getting their money, but we have ourselves a time ahead of us. Football on Thursday. How y'all feeling?
It's football.
Right. You ain't gonna go crazy, but you're excited that you're happy that football is back. Probably watch the first quarter. That's about it.
But my real question is, man, they're gonna buy the team from Michael. Man, I'm tired of watching them Hornet games, man.
The team's
yeah, I'm about to say it's too late for that.
He needs to his whole state, man. Just enjoy his Cuban wife. Just collect the Nike con checks, man. I'm tired.
Well, he already sold it, so he ain't gotta.
He still got share. He sold it completely.
No, he got a minority stake.
Oh man.
What he got to sell won't make anybody an owner. So unless they already have ownership.
Magic got to get a group with him. He don't got enough bread on his own to make that happen.
Oh man, we got Larissa Pittman's last Jordan wedding. We got to look forward to in 2024. It's getting crazy, man.
Yo, roll the credits, man. Roll the credits.
Y'all have been great. Appreciate y'all. Exciting times coming. I will be watching. We'll be on while the game's on. So definitely tap in with us. More NFL news and predictions coming. The Commander hate has been real, and it is noted and appreciated. And I look forward to this season. Sam Howell, let's go. Y'all have a blast. We will be back on Thursday. I always say that, and then I'll be forgetting. I think I should be free on Thursday, so we should all be here rocking out. Y'all take care.
And the keys, tempo, hey time, let's go.